Cold Pursuit. This is a remake of a Norwegian movie called In Order of Disappearance, also known as Kraftidioten, and that stars Stellan Skarsgård and is directed by the same fellow who made this, Hans Petter Moland. So, what's interesting about this movie is, at first glance, through the trailers, you kind of look at this and you're like, yeah, this seems like you're kind of by the numbers, Liam Neeson, someone harmed my ex, I've got to go kill them. You know,
yeah, someone did me wrong, time for revenge.
Right. And I would say, plot-wise, it doesn't venture too far away from that, but that's not what makes this movie different. This movie's got a very, very different tone in play than you would expect from any sort of Liam Neeson movie. Yeah,
I would say the tone was darkly comedic, was the main tone.
Very weird. Well, but good weird, like cheeky.
Yeah, it was weird because in a movie, well, in a lot of movies now, and in most movies, there's some sort of morality play. But that's actually what I liked about this movie is it was just, no, this is just catharsis for the sake of it.
Right.
They're like, and you know what I mean? Like, no character was spared because of anything.
Right.
Or, you know, I mean, there was I guess if there were any morals, it was like, certain characters who were shitty people would obviously get theirs or whatever. But at the end of the day, it wasn't trying to teach you a lesson or anything. It was just, you know, revenge for the sake of revenge, and it was just kind of that.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And for me, yeah, it was the plot was good, and I enjoyed seeing the revenge play out. But man, yeah, the tone really hit me right. It kind of hit the bullseye for me. It kind of felt a little bit like, I don't know if you felt this way, like it felt like a more entry level version of like Martin McDonagh's tone, where it's like something like an In Bruges or Seven Psychopaths, but like subtler.
Well, because those movies kind of have that in common. Whether you live or die is not, or whether you get yours or don't, it's not always because you're a good or bad character or whatever.
Right.
It's just kind of, things just kind of play out.
And there's a lot of awkward laughter where it's like, are they doing a slapstick joke here? Is that what this is? Should I laugh? And like, it works. Like, it's all really funny. There's a lot of really great bits. Physical comedy bits, I'd say, but like not overtly slapstick.
Right.
Like, this isn't a Harold Lloyd movie, but like there is like awkward comedy, like involving like sight gags and shit. I thought it really worked, and yeah, if I were to say the one like standout element of this movie, it's got to be that tone.
You know what I think is another thing that's important about this movie, and I say this a lot when I notice it in a good movie. I loved that Kehoe and Denver, it felt like an extra character.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way Chicago feels like an extra character in The Fugitive or Boston in Departed.
You know what's weird?
I don't know. To me, that's an important thing to make a great movie a lot of the time, is the setting has to really play a part in the kinds of characters you find in this place and how they're going to deal with things differently than characters in another city or another country or whatever.
Were you as impressed with how this movie looked as I was?
Yeah.
There were a lot of great shots, especially at night. I'm like, fuck, this place looks awesome. Just like the snowscapes, and like they use a waterfall a bit for a couple images. I'm like, this just looks really good. And I don't even care if it doesn't, because some of the stuff looks like CGI.
Right.
But some of them which I just didn't care because it was an interestingly composed shot. I also really, I don't know if you felt this way, I took special attention to the music.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of really interesting like guitar work, or like sounded kind of like balalaika type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting. You don't hear that in a score every now and then.
It felt very good and cheeky.
Yeah.
And there's something they do every time a character dies. We'll just keep this review non-spoiler. But what I liked about that was it paid off in a really, really good way towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I liked Emmy Rossum, even though she had a smaller role than I expected.
Sure.
I liked her character. I maybe wish there's a little more, but it's one of those things, perhaps it's for the better that it was a smaller role.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the kid? The bad guy's son?
Oh, he's cracked me up. He had a couple lines that were just bangers, like, and it's not really so much, I don't know, the performance or the written line, I couldn't decide, but regardless, I laughed for a couple lines. He has a couple real funny lines.
Yeah, well, this isn't like a big spoiler. They're trying to help the the boss, because like they basically clue you in that the kid's an egghead.
Yeah, he's a super genius.
And this guy's working on his like fantasy football
bracket thing.
Yeah, he says something like, I have 4 Cleveland Browns on my team. I can't help you then.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Oh, man.
What do you think of the boss, the crime boss?
I
loved that character because
he cracked me up, man.
You know what I liked about this movie that I think a lot of movies just don't do? They just have characters where it was the good and bad that I was kind of talking about earlier. Like he's a health nut.
Yeah.
But why would that be a bad guy? Why the hell not? Why
weird.
can't a bad guy be a health nut?
He I wavered on him and being like, I was threatened by him, and then there were scenes where I'm like, this guy's such a goon.
He's such a loser.
Like,
yeah, well,
there's a scene where he punches a stuffed bear. Like, he's like a 6 foot or like a 5 foot tall stuffed bear, like decks it like in anger. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, his wife always makes him look like a loser.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
talking about like divorce proceedings. And she's always, kind of knocks him down a peg. And Liam Neeson's, good as the grizzled dad.
Oh, yeah, he's real good. I will say with Liam Neeson, it's not necessarily like... There's not much in this that I'd say we've seen from Liam Neeson that's different from anything else we've seen from him, but there are a couple of comedy bits, very subtle, need be, that he puts in, and they work. So that's good to see that's a little bit different.
I think the cast all around was really good.
Yeah.
William Forsythe was good.
Yeah, I liked him.
I think her name was Elizabeth Ty. She had a bit part as...
Oh, his wife?
Oh, man, that cracked me up.
Yeah, she was funny, man.
This movie, what I love is this movie just really didn't give a shit about your feelings, about how you think about the characters. It just it's just like, this is just how this is going to play out. It didn't feel like you could... Like, obviously all movies have some element of predictability, but it didn't feel like it was one of those things where you could see every beat.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
There's stuff with assassins and the different gangs and all that interplay.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of like a twisted version of a Mad World.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everyone's kind of after each other and everyone's on each other's ass. And then you throw in a little Three's Company.
Yeah.
There's a tad of, there's some misunderstandings along the way. It's good stuff. Overall, I thought this was a different movie.
Yeah.
To me, I know this might be speaking a little too soon, but I think that this makes me much more hopeful for 2019 as a movie year than 18. And I think... At least this seems like it's a good start. It was just a different movie. It just wasn't the same bullshit,
Refreshingly different and I would say above average overall in many respects and refreshing, as I said.
I quite like this. I will score this 4 out of 5.
I'm not going to go too much lower. I'm at a 7.5 out of 10. So like only issues I had was like, I feel like in the second half of Act 2, we lose a little bit of Liam Neeson, a little bit too much.
Yeah, okay. See, I was going to say a little bit of that.
And maybe a couple jokes that like either didn't land or I couldn't tell were supposed to be serious or not jokey. I don't know. But other than that, it's still really exceptional.
No, that's true. There was a couple kind of quirky-ish lines I didn't know. But then there's obviously some bangers that knock it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of stuff with... in the later act with like the kid and Liam Neeson that I had a little trouble believing.
Right.
But yeah, there's little pacing things, but not like in long chunks at a time.
Right.
But I kind of get what you mean. There's parts where the main thread was getting a little buried.
But overall, a definite watch.
At the end of the day, they eventually found all the threads and made them go together. That's the thing that made it worth it. Was yes, you do lose Liam Neeson, but at least they justified it in the end.
It pays off.
It all pays. Everything comes together in a weird, very in Bruges way.
Yeah.
So it's weird you say that comparison. So I agree with that. So 4 out of 5 from me, and a 7.5 out of 10 from you. So that'll do it for our review of Cold Pursuit.